What up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are discussing the best Pokemon card investments. I have a show coming up, a vending show, and I'm going to be buying there as well. So not only will this be a refresher for me to see what I want to pick up if I come across it, but you guys will get value as well as we go through Sword and Shield, Scarlet and Violet, and even Mega Evolution cards and what I would suggest picking up if you don't have one already, and what I'm going to be picking up personally if I see it at upcoming shows. So yeah, subscribe if you like Pokemon investing talk, and if you want to keep track of how the show goes, what I buy and sell at the show, then just follow up on Ninetales Corner on Instagram, and I'll be posting about that there. So let's start with promos for Sword and Shield. So these guys have kind of taken off, like Charizard Staff pre-release, Champions Festival, like they've kind of taken off already. What I would like is to focus on stuff that's probably I'll talk about stuff I'm thinking about, and then I'll talk about stuff that I definitely recommend. So I honestly am thinking about this one because it's close to that $100 mark. And these are USD prices, by the way, for Canadians watching. This Gengar, I'm surprised it's so expensive. Someone can tell me why in the comments if they know. But if this is just a normal promo that's not attached to anything crazy, like I'd be looking out for Scarlet and Violet Gengar normal card promos because this is nothing, I don't know, crazy going on here. It's just a normal Gengar promo. So yeah, that one I'm curious about. Vaporeon VMAX. So this is a card I definitely recommend if you don't have it. I have it, so I prefer kind of diversifying into stuff I don't already have. Sometimes I do double down if I really believe in a card, but I would recommend this one if you don't have it. This one I'm probably thinking about getting as well, the Pikachu. You know, it's Pikachu. They did this in Scarlet and Violet as well with the 3 starters of that generation. I believe in that card a lot, especially with the Pokemon Center stamped. So this one in Sword and Shield, I don't like the artwork quite as much, but I'd probably get one just to be safe if I see it for a good price. Flareon V, I have multiple. I really like that as well. I like Jolteon V Max, Vaporeon V, Charizard V Star. You guys know I like that one. I have a lot of those in the tens of them. I have Jolteon V, I recommend if you don't have it. Flareon V Max. Charizard VMAX, Blastoise VMAX, definitely. I'll be looking out for that. Charizard V, I have a number of them. This Pikachu, I actually have a PSA 10 of it. There's only like 30 something out there. So for that reason, it's very interesting. Plus, the artwork is done by Soso, who also does some of my favorites, including Gengar VMAX, and also the alt art for Espeon. The one with the like Harry Potter library vibe. So this one I definitely recommend. And then Venusaur VMAX, obviously, to have the big 3. And yeah, I did pick up this one as well. So if you guys see this one around, this one's in the Evolving Skies blisters. So I would recommend that. This Arceus looks pretty nice. I'm thinking about that if I see it. Obviously, Galarian Moltres, dear God. Definitely recommend that. Have one, but would like to get more. I also ordered before a PSA 10 of this one. Such a sad story. It didn't come. It didn't arrive. And then I got a refund, but even by the time I got the refund and like a few months later, it had skyrocketed. I think I ordered it for like $60 and then it never came, Canadian. And it never came, and now you can just look at what it's at. It's going to be a lot harder to pay for the PSA 10 now, knowing that I could have had it for $60. Pikachu VMAX, I would definitely recommend as well, especially at these prices, right? A lot of this stuff. Charizard V for sure. This Espeon is kind of the same thing as the Umbreon, just for Fusion Strike. It came with the blister pack, so I actually got one of these 3-pack blisters with this because I knew it would do well, and it has been doing well. And yeah, now we're going to smaller cards. Like, if you guys see anything interesting, you can't go wrong with getting one, right? Like, this Meowth VMAX, I think it's cool. I would pick this up at this price for sure. You know, diversification, having some fan favorite Pokemon like Mewtwo V, Pikachu V Max, hard to go wrong with those, especially when there's like a bit of a more interesting artwork going on as well. Uh, I don't know if we went through it yet, but yeah, this EV Max also I think is really cool and underrated. We didn't get an EV Max, but we know evolutions are huge in the Sword and Shield era and with Evolving Skies and everything. And having a Eevee VMAX with like the cute little Eevee as a huge Eevee, I think there's a lot of appeal to that. So I would have one. I would get one if I didn't have one already. I have one sealed, but I'd probably pick up more at these prices as well. Very, very cool card. And if you look at some of the VMAX, like look at the Umbreon VMAX from Evolving Skies, they can get normal VMAXs. Not even talking about promo VMAXs, can get to some high numbers. All right, and I think we could go deeper, but for the rule of thumb for these ones as we go deeper is just if it's a popular Pokemon, if it's cheap, if it's a cool artwork, it's probably a good idea to at least add one copy to your collection. So now let's go into actual sets. All right, so we got Sword and Shield. This may be a long video, but a lot of you guys have said you like these kinds of videos. So, you know, it'll be useful, like I said, research for me going into the show, but also for you guys to see what might be good pickups at this point. I kind of personally don't care about Rainbow Rares. What they do have going for them, though, is that we don't have them right now and anymore. So I do think they might do well, but I'm personally on this list more interested in the less expensive Snorlax VMAX. I like the fact that you see the actual natural colors there. I think Snorlax has a very cool VMAX transformation, so I would be looking to get this Snorlax VMAX if I saw it. Besides that, not too much interesting to me here. Yeah, so obviously when we get into the altars, there will be more stuff. I like Celebi V, but again, we're talking about normal Vs here, so let's just stick with I recommend the Snorlax VMAX in that Sword and Shield base set. Rebel Clash. I don't know if there's anything there here. I love Ninetales, right? Ninetales Corner. So if I do see this one, I would be picking it up for sure. It has age going for it right now as well. Not too interested in Boss's Orders or anything like that. But I definitely get one copy of that Ninetales. So that would be what I'm looking for in this set. And that's pretty much it. But good to know that even in this set, one of the weaker ones, I found something to chase. All right, then we have Darkness Ablaze. You think you can't go wrong with getting the chase card, especially at this price. So this is the Charizard VMAX, Charizard fan favorite. Obviously, everyone, you know, doesn't like Darkness Ablaze, just like with Rebel Clash. There aren't a lot of good chase cards, but it is a Charizard. It is a VMAX. It's unique. It's original to the time period. These things are getting older, so I would definitely recommend picking up this one. I'll be looking for it personally. I like Caesar too, but again, after a certain point, I really like focusing on illustration rares and alt arts and stuff like that. So I think that Charizard is the only one that's screaming out to me. With Mew being so popular, I would think about getting this one as well if I saw it for a good price. And that's about it here. So every set so far had something that I'm looking for. That's good. I don't know if I'll have it in this one though. Yes, I do. Okay. So in these ones, these amazing rares are actually interesting to me. I'm thinking about getting a Pikachu VMAX because it's not super expensive yet. It's pretty expensive, but it's the chase card. It's a Pikachu VMAX. It's an interesting thing. This one I definitely get as well. If I saw it, it's a really good price. Again, that Pikachu VMAX. Pikachu V, less interested. I like the VMAX chubbiness of the Pikachu, but I would think about it if I saw this one at a show as well. This Celebi, I actually have one. I really am interested in this amazing rare stuff because it did not last long. I feel like it could develop a niche cult following. Like they're actually very cool to look at. So my favorites are the Celebi and Rayquaza. So I would be actually down to pick up more of those. All right, so what's coming up next? McDonald's 25th anniversary. I mean, I don't even know if we should check that out. Probably nothing crazy there. Yeah, if I saw the top chase card here somewhere, I would pick it up, just because you never know what can happen in the future. So, one of the philosophies on this channel is the rich get richer and winners keep winning. And yeah, I think if something is in first place and it's that cheap, you can't go wrong with picking it up, especially if it's a fan favorite Pokemon. Same idea as with the Pikachu. I would say here Charizard VMAX could be interesting just because it's the Charizard, it's the chase card, it's a shiny Charizard. That to me is one of the few interesting things here I'd think about. Again, ideally I would like something that hasn't gone past the $100 mark, but I can't see you going too wrong with that Charizard. So I would consider picking that up if I saw it. Nothing else. Nothing else. This is so much worse than Paldean Fates. It's insane. Okay. So that's it for this one. Keep in mind, guys, if you like a Pokemon, pick it up. It's cool. Add it to your personal collection. I'm just looking at, I have to incorporate fan favorite stuff in general, just because, as investors, like that's what we're looking for. Tyranitar V. So you guys know, if you've been following the channel for a while, I recommend getting fan favorite chase cards from previous generations. I think it's a very, safe bet. Sometimes it's not the most growth, but buying the winners usually pays off, especially if the set's out of print. So I have two of these Tyranitar Vs, one in PSA 10, one raw. I would definitely recommend picking one up if you don't have one. Tyranitar is a fan favorite Pokemon. The sleeping nature of it is cool to this card because you don't usually see Tyranitar like this. So yeah, Altar chase cards, popular Pokemon. I do recommend that. And now that we're getting some more choice in these sets, yeah, yeah, I don't think nothing else is screaming out at me. I do like Mimikyu. I do like it, but I don't know if there's enough in this card. Just a full art. I don't know if there's enough to make me pull the trigger there. But that Tyranitar Altart, if you don't have it, I strongly recommend adding it to your collection. I'm not buying a million of them, but I like having exposure to that card for sure. Chilling Rain is one of the ones that I want a lot of cards from. I got the Blaziken VMAX. I got the Moltres V in PSA 10s. Now I'm thinking about pulling the trigger on the Galarian Slowking if I can find one at the show. Not only is it Komiya artwork, Slowking is an interesting Pokemon, right? Like a lot of us would recognize it right after generation after first generation, a first generation evolution. So there's a lot to like about it. It is Galarian, but I think the artwork and Komiya more than makes up for the fact that it's a Galarian variant. So yeah, that's one of the ones that I want that's been avoiding me. Rapidash V I recommend. You have a first generation Pokemon, yes, a variant of it, but almost a more interesting variant with the unicorn aesthetic to it. I think that's beautiful artwork as well, so I do strongly recommend adding this to your collection if you don't have it. Zapdos I've added to the collection as well, and I don't have Galarian Articuno, so I'd be looking to add that one to complete the 3 birds if I see it at the show. I'm not crazy about these Rider guys. Like, I did get this one, the Shadow Rider Calyrex V, just because I thought the artwork was so good, but because it's like Sleepy Hollow, it's cool. But because they're not really established as favorite Pokemon or anything, I hesitate to recommend it. I just really like the artwork here. There will be master setters, of course. You can't go too wrong, but I am trying to look at something interesting. Bliss EV at this price point could be worth it. That's a evolution of a first gen Pokemon. This one is one I think that's been receiving love lately. I'm not too worried about getting it. I'd say more so Slowking is number one on this list because I don't have it, and Articuno V for the next show. I am a Celebi fan, but again, I don't. I'd recommend for myself and others getting the alt arts you don't have before turning to the rainbows. But again, I do think there could be a place for rainbows, especially because we don't have rainbows anymore currently. So there could be a nostalgia factor there for people. So Evolving Skies, I have like everything I want, I feel like. But if you get good deals on any of the evolutions, I think go for it. Umbreon VMAX, Rayquaza VMAX, Dragonite V, Umbreon V, Sylveon VMAX, Leafeon VMAX. This Rayquaza is awesome too. Glaceon VMAX, one of the first ones I got. This is the Espeon I love, also by Soso. My favorite non-VMAX card art for sure in this Evolving Skies. I love books too, so that plays a part here. It's like a library, cozy library. Sylveon V is cool. Glaceon V is probably my least favorite, but people seem to like it. And Leafeon V, I just like Leafeon. It's funny how it's in the leaves and everything. That's a cool thing. Again, rainbows, I'm not too concerned about personally. I got the Noivern V because it looks like Batman. I think that's sick. But yeah, so here's Umbreon VMAX 21, right? So we can see I would get the best of everything. So I think by getting the top rainbow card here, the Rayquaza VMAX, the Umbreon VMAX, by getting those, and by getting the top VMAX, Umbreon VMAX, I don't think you can go too wrong there. The top VMAXs of the set that are in either rainbow or in just normal VMAX. So those are the ones I'd be considering pulling the trigger on. The others I'm not too concerned about. Again, as time goes on, if the other ones go up, there's time to kind of look through these. And they could be interesting plays, but right now those are my main priorities. All right, so next up, I believe, is Fusion Strike. If nope, Celebrations. Okay, we have Celebrations next. So Celebrations, I think, has room to grow, honestly. I think we haven't seen max ceiling or growth of it. For me, I got the main ones I wanted, which was for me Charizard. I recently picked up the Umbreon Gold Star. And then Pikachu's birthday, I picked that one up. Shining Magikarp, Venusaur, and Blastoise. Those are the most interesting ones to me. Not saying other ones won't do well, but those are the most interesting ones to me. And some of these that are like super cheap, I do find myself thinking about picking up, especially since I don't have them in the collection yet. So for me, standouts are Dark Gyarados and Rocket Zapdos. Those are cheap and I don't have them yet, so I would be looking to diversify into them and get them before they might get expensive as well. But again, you guys know my strategy. Top 1 and 2 of a set with popular Pokemon, cool artwork, right? That's the original artwork for Charizard. Gold stars are huge. It's hard to go wrong with the top ones. And then I also got another Celebrations. So this is usually I open up the windows ahead of time, but we're just covering so much here that I didn't think that made sense. But now we're lagging a bit, but it's okay. We're back. So we got the Gold Mew. I did pick that one up. It's gone up a bit since I picked it up. Again, it's the top chase in the main Celebration set. Going for the top ones, usually a safe bet. All these Pikachu I would pick up at these price points if I saw, especially if I don't have them in the collection. I have this Mew. I don't know why it's as expensive as it is. You know, why would it be? It's just a normal card, but I would get one. Again, cheap. Mew is so big right now. I'd get it if you don't have it already. And then Flying Pikachu. That's where I'd cut it off. Not too big on any of the other cards here. But if you don't have these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think there's no harm in picking it up at these low prices, especially starting with Surfing Pikachu onwards. Definitely, I'd add it to my collection if I didn't have them already. And now we get to Fusion Strike. I recently said how if I sell one Fusion Strike booster box out of my 7, I recoup all my costs and I'm even in the green. And then the other 6 can just grow for free forever. So it's pretty crazy how much Fusion Strike has grown. I have all of these top 5. I'd recommend getting them. I don't know. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. I realize Gengar VMAX is asking a lot for people. So the budget options, I think, would be the Mew V. I think that's a good budget option. Celebi V, I like too. I don't know how much of that is my personal bias for Celebi. But Mew V, we know Mew is popular. We know this is less than $100. Right now, we know this is Fusion Strike. So my budget option for anybody would be the Mew V. I recently picked up the Mew VMAX because it was the only one I was missing out of the top 5 here. And Gengar VMAX again. I know a lot of people aren't even looking at cards at this price range, but it's Gengar VMAX. It's a So-So artwork. Again, I told you guys how much I like So-So. I think the artwork's awesome. I picked it up, a long time ago. I picked up the PSA 10 for 400, so it's easy for me to say. But I would still pick this up if I were me and I didn't have it. I would pick this up just like I picked up the Lovebirds at PSA 9 in the previous generation. It was already at like 2,000. What was it, like $2,800 Canadian when I picked it up? So I went back and I was willing to pay for more for the chase cards of the tag team era. So if you guys don't have these big alt arts and you had the money to spare, I would pick up like the big chase cards like the Gengar VMAX. If you don't, like I said, Mew V is a good budget option here. The normal Gengar VMAX is also interesting, right? I do think these normal VMAXs will eventually get a run, especially as these guys continue to get more and more expensive and more people get priced out. I think there will be a market for normal VMAXs. Again, because Mew is so popular, I would be interested in this Mew VMAX as well. And again, I'm prioritizing. So here I would prioritize popular Pokemon to alt art. We'll see if that strategy stands the test of time. Obviously, you can get the best of both worlds with Mew V. But let's say if I had around $10, I would rather pick up a Mew VMAX compared to a Greedent or compared to a Sandaconda V. But best of both worlds would definitely be the Mew V. Brilliant Stars. Okay, this one is one of the most exciting sets, and I think people are starting to realize it. Now, I don't know exactly what the situation here is. I'm guessing the pull rates were easier. That's why these cards aren't going harder price-wise so quickly. I think they still have room to grow. But this Charizard V is a must-have, in my opinion, if you don't have it. $229, but it's a Charizard. It's a chase card for Brilliant Stars. And there's a Venusaur battling him in there. It's just amazing. You have two really popular Pokemon. Obviously, Charizard, one of the most popular. It's his card. It's just, to me, if I didn't have this, I'd pull the trigger. And that goes for all 4 of these top ones. Umbreon VMAX, right? It's the other Umbreon VMAX alt art of the Sword and Shield era. It's definitely going to do well, in my opinion. It's the top Umbreon VMAX in trainer galleries as well, obviously, so there's something to be said about that. This Mimikyu V, I wanted it so bad, it just took me a long time to pull the trigger, but I did recently pull the trigger on this one. Not only is the artwork great, I love the watching TV, the horrified trainer. These guys are a popular combination. Mimikyu is a popular Pokemon, but you even have a Gengar cameo, and we all know how popular Gengar is right in the corner there. So because of that, I think I'm not surprised that this card is doing so well. Sylveon VMAX, obviously Sylveon's right, not up there with Umbreon, but usually second to Umbreon, and I think this trainer combo, Pokemon combo, is a winner. Arceus V, this is one I'm thinking about picking up. If I didn't have them, I would pick up Umbreon V and Sylveon V sooner, because to me they're more interesting Pokemon, more popular Pokemon. But that being said, I have them. So instead of just getting a bunch of these, I have like 3 of these Umbreon Vs, I feel like. And I have 2 Sylveon Vs, including a PSA 10. Instead of just getting a bunch more, I'd rather diversify and next time get an Arceus V or Arceus V. Again, not sure how you say that. Still never learned. But you can let me know in the comments. Is it a hard Arceus or is it Arceus? And like the comment, that's the right pronunciation, so I know once and for all. And then I would also think about getting this Mimikyu VMAX to complete my Mimikyus as well. If you don't have the Vaporeon, I would get it. I do have it. Flareon, I would get it. I'd complete the collection. I'd get the Eevee, I'd get the Jolteon, but I do have them already. I would pick up this Mimikyu VMAX. Again, I like the idea of picking up popular VMAXs, normal VMAXs at cheap prices. I think they do have room to grow. So I would like to get those. And I think that does it right now for this, what I'm looking for right now in this set. After Brilliant Stars, like I said, this is going to be a long video, isn't it? Shout out to the ones still here. But we want to be thorough here. And thank you for coming along for my research. Machamp V, not the priority in terms of alt art chases in the Sword and Shield era. I still would get it if I didn't have it. I do have it. It's a 151 Pokemon. It's a chase card. It's a cool alt art. I still would get it. But I think Starmie V is the better play if you're just looking on return on investment. It's cheaper, and honestly, I can see the Starmie V eventually being more expensive than the Machamp V. I can see that potentially happening because of how popular Misty is and Misty Starmie combo being iconic. And I would get Origin Form Palkia V. I would get Origin Form Dialga V if I didn't have it. I do have them, so I don't need to. I have that position. I don't need to diversify by adding them. Garchomp V, obviously, these two make a great combination. I do have that one. I would recommend it. And Beedrill V, I would recommend. I also have that. Sneasler is the one I'd think about. And not because it's a fan favorite Pokemon, but because this artwork goes really hard in my opinion. And again, it's not that expensive. A Moltres V, I would get if I didn't have it. I do have it though, but I would get it because of how hard the Moltres V from Chilling Reign goes. And again, this is the second version of it you can get if you're priced out of the other one. So I would get this one as well. The other ones I'm not too interested in getting right now. Some of the other stuff I'm looking for take priority over the other cards here. Obviously, I do think Gardevoir for these like cheap Gardevoirs, I would get them. I do have it though. But if I didn't have it, I would get cheap Gardevoirs. Gardevoir is often a chase card or one of the chase cards of sets. So whenever you see a cheap popular Pokemon like that, especially since it's a trainer gallery and not just a normal V, I would pull the trigger on that. All right, so we're making through. We're almost through Sword and Shield. Oh man, Pokemon Go Mewtwo, obviously. I got this one. I strongly recommend Mewtwo. Let's see. The Radiant Charizard, I probably would want to diversify into Radiant Charizard, Radiant Blastoise, Radiant Venusaur. I do like those three. This is a unique collection of them, and I think they have room to grow. Again, Pokemon Go, not the best set, but those are the 4 cards that I would be open to picking up if I saw them at a show. Match battle. Yeah, I don't know much about this. McDonald's again. Again, can't go wrong with picking up the top cheap chase cards for this stuff. Gengar. Yeah, these ones are so cheap. But yeah, again, if you want to pick up the top chase cards, that's an option. Lost Origin. Let's go. Again, maybe people are priced out already of the Giratina V. I would get it if I didn't have it. I have a PSA 10 of it. I would get the Aerodactyl, the Pikachus, and again, I have all these. I've been working on getting these, so I don't think there's pretty much anything I'm looking for in Lost Origin that I haven't picked up. But if I didn't have them, all these 5 top ones, this Pikachu, this Charizard, I have this Mew VMAX. I probably would pick up Pikachu VMAX, this one. If I'd be interested in it if I see it at a show. The Snorlax I have, but I would pick up if I didn't have it. And I think that pretty much covers this one. I do think this card is slept on, and it has been for a while. I mean, I remember when it was like less than $1 Canadian. Now it's like over $4 Canadian, probably approaching 5. But I think this artwork goes hard as someone who liked Arceus, Legends Arceus, and it was like a iconic new take on Pokemon. A lot of people loved it. A lot of people thought ZA dropped the ball and remember it even more fondly after ZA dropped the ball. And this game really, with the clothing and everything, epitomizes the nostalgia of that first take on Legends. So for that reason, Arcanine's a Gen 1 Pokemon. I do think this has potential to keep going. It is a low-key underrated pick for me. And that pretty much covers Lost Origin. Next up, I believe, is Silver Tempest. Yeah. Again, I think people were unfair with Silver Tempest. People were like, there's Lugia V and nothing else. Immediately, I would say if you don't have, again, how much money do you have, right? Like that is an important thing. Don't go into debt for this stuff. But let's say you have the money, you're looking at what to get. Like I said, the chase cards, Lugia V, you want that in your collection. I have a PSA 10 one, I have a raw one. And then I have the Rayquaza VMAX as well in PSA 10. I would recommend if you're priced out of the Lugia V, I think this Rayquaza VMAX is an amazing card. And compare the price point to the Evolving Skies Rayquazas, right? So there's that. And then I would also personally get the Blaziken VMAX and Blaziken V. I do have both of them. And those would be my priorities. This Blissey V is cute. This is a cute Blissey V for sure. And the price point's not too high, so I would be open to that, adding this one. For diversification reasons. I have the Unknown V. I have the Regidrago V. I'm not crazy about them, but Unknown is nostalgic for Gen 2 people like me. And here we have actually Lugia in this Regidrago V, so that could be a nice Easter egg for Lugia fans down the line to collect. This artwork's cool, but again, these are not the most popular Pokemon. I did add this one to my collection because, again, it's Gardevoir. I believe that Gardevoir has a lot of staying power. I like this Altaria. At this price point, I would pick it up. Has multiple things going for it in my view. Yeah, that would be my priorities for now. Rockruff, I kind of think sleeping Pokemon tend to do well. I feel like that. So honestly, if I see cheap enough trainer gallery Pokemons like this sleeping, I would probably pick them up. This one's cute. I have this one in my collection. So yeah, those are those are the priorities for me in Silver Tempest. I think there's more depth to it than people often care to admit. I feel like a lot of the time it's been like Lugia V or bust, but even this Rayquaza VMAX alone is an amazing second hit. I don't know why people didn't acknowledge it sooner as a great hit. I guess there was a bias against trainer galleries at some point. But no, this is an amazing card and it looks awesome and everything. And then the Blazikens, right? Blaziken is a chase card for another set in the Sword and Shield era. Here you have the nostalgia of May being there as well. So yeah, I think Silver Tempest got a worse rep than it deserved for sure. Crown Zenith, all right. So a lot of people say this one's the best set ever. I don't agree, but I like it. I would recommend the top two. Giratina V-Star has been leading the other gold stars, and Mewtwo V-Star is Mewtwo battling Charizard. Two fan favorite Pokemon battling each other. It goes with the Charizard V-Star, where it's from Charizard's perspective. This is a no-brainer play for the Mewtwo V-Star. I'd get the Mewtwo before I get the Giratina V-Star, but I do have all three of these first ones. I would probably get the Dialga and Palkia if I see them. And I can get a good deal on them because I would like to complete the gold collection. Then you could potentially sell them off together, right, as a collection. Leafeon V-Star, all the, like, obviously, Evolutions, no-brainer. Glaceon, Leafeon, I would pick up. I have this one, so you'd think I'd want to pump it, but I'd actually look to sell this one and get cards I believe in more. Maybe Deoxys is more popular than I realize, but I'm not that interested personally. So I worry that down the line, like something like a Glaceon would surpass the Deoxys personally. And then also, as a fan of the second generation, I love the legendary dogs too. I think it's cool that they can be put together. Suicune is the best artwork, in my opinion, followed by Raikou. But Entei had his own movie, so he is popular. So I would recommend getting these three. Sleeping Mew has grown quite a bit, but again, it's Mew. I would recommend that one. Pikachu, this one I would recommend. It's actually fully textured. I didn't know that before I actually picked one up, but I do have that one as well. So I have all the three legendary dogs. I bought this Pikachu as well because, you know, full art, alt art / trainer gallery Pikachu to me is a must pick up. So that was a no-brainer. And then there's a lot of cool stuff. The lower end stuff, I really like the Lapras. First gen Pokemon, cool artwork. It's a cute Lapras. Radiant Charizard, I think, is a cool play. Rayquaza VMAX, even that's interesting. Ditto, this one's a really cool card. Magmortar has that they're Gen 1 evolutions, right? They're evolved from Gen 1 Pokemon, plus these two together in the winter. I like this one. I would add these matching ones to my collection personally. I realize they're not the most fan favorite Pokemon, but I would add at least both of them to my collection. And then, you know, depending on how deep you want to go, these appear to be matching artworks. Like a bunch of these appear to be like the same scenario, and you can put them together and match them. There could be people collecting them in the future, trying to match them up, right? I think Pikachu goes with these guys as well. But not my priority right now, just more so the fan favorite Pokemon. And that brings us to Pokemon Card Game Classic, guys. I think this has been slept on for so long. People might think like, oh, you buy it and so it's not going to be valuable because you're guaranteed to hit these. Guys, that's promos. And you see how crazy some of these promos can get. So I think this Charizard, the OG artwork, is a great investment. And then just honestly getting that Trading Card Game Classic box, at least one of them, with all these cards, or at least getting your favorites, I think would be a good play. I think this is undervalued. and it's been even more undervalued in the past, but it's getting old now. It's going to be drying up. It's expensive. It's getting more expensive to get the box. I think this is going to be a very affordable way at this point to get some of your favorite artworks through history. And I think people are going to be looking back on this trading card game classic collection much more fondly as more time goes on. So that's a take you probably haven't heard from other YouTubers, but I think Pokemon Card Game Classic is underrated. Okay, Scarlet and Violet promos. Let's go. Let's go. Oof. This is hard for me to recommend to anybody. All I'm saying is, right, if it were me and I didn't have a Pikachu with gray felt hat, I have a PSA 10 of it, I pulled the trigger, I would get this one, or at least a raw one for 502. Yes, there's a lot of them. Yes, it could go down, but it is so iconic that I wouldn't want to take the chance of it being more expensive in the future and not being able to get it, right? So I'm not saying buy a million copies, but if it wasn't my collection, if I didn't have exposure to it, I would get it. Again, I'm not too interested in these championship cards. I don't really get them. They're probably rare, and that's why, they hold some value. So I wouldn't really be interested in those. Snorlax from the Pokemon Center, right? The big ones, I'd get a copy of each of them. The Snorlax, the Charmander, the Pikachu. I have seen the Squirtle. I passed on it. Maybe I'll regret it later, but it's not like the full card art. So I haven't been too drawn towards it personally. The Wobbuffet as well. I think this is just... Wobbuffet's not the most popular Pokemon, but Team Rocket and Wobbuffet together with how iconic it is in the show, I think it works. And I think this is a good artwork, and even like the bothering the Team Rocket members. I think it's perfect Wobbuffet. These legendaries I would recommend. I especially like the moon here. And Eevee I would. Kingdra, Greninja, Mew, Magneton, Mimikyu, and that's where it stops. Okay. Don't care about Iron Thorns onwards. And if you can't afford, right, if you're on a budget, you can't afford a Pokemon Center stamps, the next best thing, if you really like the artwork and you want to add some exposure to these cards, is to get the raws without the Pokemon Center stamps, right? As a Gen 2 lover, I believe there are other Gen 2 lovers like me. I would get the Noctowl, and I do have exposure to it. The Mewtwo as well, of course. Mewtwo is a fan favorite Pokemon. This Eevee, I think this is a really good deal because the box is expensive. And yet this Eevee is only 21. So that's kind of crazy. I think this Eevee is a good buy right now at this price point. Again, at least one of these Pikachus in the collection. You can't go wrong with a Pikachu full alt art like this, in my opinion, especially if it's not new and like been succumbed to hype and it's cheap like this. Charizard EX. Again, I prefer the alt arts. I prefer the illustration rares, but this is interesting as well. I'd think about this, getting one. Although I do have the sealed tin, so I kind of have exposure to it already. Not interested in Steven's Beldum, that's for sure. And then you have more of these if you don't want to spring the money for a Pokemon Center stamped one. Although I would prefer the Pokemon Center stamped if you could swing it. Victini, yeah, I would be interested in adding one of these to the collection. I like the fact that if you read it, Victini says here, this Pokemon brings victory. And so it's sort of like a good luck charm as well as being a kind of popular Pokemon. Not that popular, but kind of popular. Plus, it's like a good luck charm card as well. So I think that's an interesting aspect to it. Also, this Pikachu, I would be interested in adding to the collection as well if I saw it. And I think that about covers it. I think that's more than enough to look forward to and to look for in the promos. All right, we should probably start picking this up since we're approaching the 45-minute mark. All right. Gardevoir, Kirlia, Routes. That is a line I would want to complete if I haven't already. I have them all in PSA 10, so I've definitely completed that. But yeah, if not in PSA 10, again, if someone can't afford something in PSA 10, but they can afford it in Raw, that's a way to go. So I think this line, which the whole sort of interesting aspect to this new generation, because alt arts are pretty much illustration rares. They can call them differently, but they're pretty much the same thing. What was unique here, though, is that they did these connecting artworks with the evolution lines. That was the unique thing about Scarlet and Violet, and this is the first example of that. So, Gardevoir is popular, like I said. So I think that's very cool to have. Drowsy is a must-have, in my opinion. The Komiya artwork, first generation Pokemon. Riolu, less so interesting to me. Slowpoke is more interesting. Slowpoke is more interesting. I did end up picking up this Greavard too, because I like that there's a Gengar in it, and the So-So is the artist as well. Again, it's a play on the artist, it's a play on the artwork, it's a play on Gengar being in it. So I thought at the price point it makes sense for me. Obviously, I don't think Greavard is a home run Pokemon, but there was enough to like for me in this card to get some exposure to it. And the same thing with this Miraidon artwork. Time will tell how big Miraidon and Koraidon tend to be moving forward in the future, how fondly they're remembered. But when I like the artwork this much and the price points like this, it's an easy buy for me. Nothing else screaming out at me here. I like this Mabostiff at this price point because, first of all, any dog lover can appreciate this scene. Second of all, if you played the game, these guys have a very strong connection, and you see the trainer Arvin with Mabostiff. Plus, it's super cheap, good artwork. So, to me, there's enough to justify getting one of these if you don't have one already. And I do have exposure to it, but I would get one if I didn't have it. All right, Paldean evolved. Yes, Magikarp is expensive. Yes, I think I would get exposure to it if I didn't have it already. Obviously, you guys know with the channel, that's been my profile picture since I started the channel. I have a PSA 10. I wish I picked up more when I did pick up the first one. It's went up by like 5x at least. I feel like 4, definitely more than 4. I feel like 5x at this point since I picked it up. But anyways, it's been a home run investment, and it's an iconic card. It's Shinji Kanda. Magikarp has historic chase cards. Some people are like, Magikarp's not a popular Pokemon. Okay, Magikarp and Wailord, like one of the biggest chase cards in the whole tag team era. And then you have shiny Magikarp. Look up the price point of that thing. So Magikarp has definitely been a chase card. Combine it with Shinji Kanda artwork, and it just knocks out of the park. You even have Gyarados up here as well. A little Easter egg for people. So yeah, I think this card is a must-have if you don't have exposure to it. Tyranitar, Raichu as well. Sleeping Raichu. I don't get the mouse hold thing. I'm steering clear of that. People like it. It's been holding. I would avoid it personally. I don't get it. But, eventually there will be people that hold on to some of these newer Pokemon and they become like fan favorites like the old Pokemon. To me, it's just not time tested like a Raichu, like a Tyranitar, like a Magikarp. So to me, like I would just not bother with the mouse hold personally. Meryl as a second gen, nice, cute artwork. I would get that if I didn't have exposure to it. And yeah, some of these second gen ones as well, like the Heracross, the Sudowoodo. And of course, if you follow the channel, you know I like the Paldean Tauros as well. And they're like, these are very affordable cards that go harder than maybe they should for the popularity of the Pokemon, but I like them. I think you could do far worse than adding something like the Paldean Tauros, Sudowoodo, and Heracross in your investment portfolio. And again, I think I'm hoping there's like maybe 151 wouldn't make sense because Gen 2 had 151 Pokemon, so maybe it can't be like a 151 for Gen 2 because you have to include the 151 Pokemon in the game. So maybe it's going to be something different, but I'd like to see a set focusing on the Gen 2 games and the love for them. We kind of got that in Destined Rivals, so but I would like to see more. We'll see if we end up getting it. This Charizard to me is a very easy buy. I think the artwork is great. The price point is affordable. This is a no-brainer pickup if you don't have it. For me, I have a raw and I have 2 PSA 10s of it. I think it's an awesome card, awesome value. Same with Ninetales. I would definitely get exposure to this if I didn't have it. And then for me, I recently picked up the Cleffa. I've been wanting. I think the artwork's amazing. It's a Gen 2 based on a Gen 1. A lot to like there, affordable. Pidgeot line. Again, maybe not everyone's a fan of this artwork, but this Pokemon trio is iconic, and you have all three, the line together here. And at the price points, I think it's a no-brainer pickup. Caesar, Gloom as well. I think these are easy pickups. Yep, and that's pretty much it. Now, again, I've been one of the few defenders of Obsidian Flames. Yes, it doesn't have that much depth because it didn't get that many illustration rares. But though for how many it got, the amount of good artworks and the amount of popular, or at least Gen 1 and Gen 2 Pokemon that we got, I think it's really good for that. Like, we got Charizard. Doesn't get much bigger in name than Charizard. You got beautiful Ninetales artwork. You got Cleffa. You got the whole Pidgeot line. You got Gloom. You got Caesar. Like, those alone, make sure it's not even a 1, 2, or 3 hit thing. It's like there's multiple cards in here that I would be stoked to get in the pack. All right, now just everything at 151. If you don't have it, master set this. You will thank yourself later. 151, from the moment it came out, it got me back into Pokemon. It did it for a lot of people. Everyone loves this, old people, new people. You can see how much the price has risen on the sealed product, even though it's not that old yet. It's just a no-brainer. If you can swing it, get a master set of 151. Just everything. Like you could say, who cares about Mr. Mime? But even this is Gen 1. It's part of a master set of this. It's interesting artwork. It's illustration rare from 151, and it's affordable, right? Like, obviously, yes, I would more so prioritize like starting at Nidoking and then Poliwhirl and then pretty much all of them after that, Dragonair, Ivysaur, Wartortle, Psyduck, like all of the Pikachu with all the Gen 1 Pokemon in there. Like, these top ones would be my priority all the way, especially up to Poliwhirl. I think this artwork goes hard. I think Nidoking about the lower tiers is the standout. But everything is good here, man. Caterpie is good. Tangela is good. And then Ammonite and Mr. Mime as the worst ones, they're still worth buying at these price points. So, yeah, 151. Just master set it. You can diversify, invest in other stuff, but if you can afford it, if you can swing it, you won't regret master setting 151. And that's another thing, guys. Like, if you are interested in investing in Pokemon, collecting Pokemon, if you just like get these cards and you get one of them, you could always enjoy the artwork. Once you start doubling down and tripling down and having like, I don't know, 10 versions of a card, then maybe you're like, you're like, okay, maybe I got too much. But getting one, being able to enjoy the artwork whenever you want, and having exposure to the card, I really think you can't go wrong with that when you like the artwork, when it's fan favorite Pokemon. Uh, so yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you guys have these cards, you don't have to buy 100 copies. But if you don't, I'd consider picking at least one copy up, enjoy the artwork, have some exposure to it in your portfolio. And in this set, I like the Groudon. This Altaria has been, it's not fan favorite, right? It's not fan favorite, but this Altaria has been calling out to me. I think the artwork's cool. I called out to me even before it became the second most popular one. And Altaria is kind of a cool Pokemon. Like, not obviously the price point reflects that it's not like the coolest, but at this point I'd be thinking about getting an Altaria for sure. Garchomp EX is an easy buy for me. Garchomp to me has plenty of popularity. You have a lot of interesting chase-worthy Cynthia Garchomp combo cards. This Garchomp is a water type, which is usually not what you associate with Garchomp because of the, I don't even remember what it was called, terrestrialization or whatever. So I think that's very unique. We only have 3 cards that I know of that do that. Obsidian Flames Charizard, this one, and the Greninja one. So I think getting all 3 of those as like a collection will be a thing in the future because they didn't do this long. And so this Garchomp as the cheapest one seems like an easy buy, seems like an easy play to make. Steelix Gen 2, fun artwork. This is one I picked up and I'm glad I did. I would pick it up if I didn't have exposure to it. Magby, I also picked up recently, Gen 1 pre-evolution, and I absolutely love the artwork. I think it's awesome. So that was a no-brainer pickup to me. The rest, not that interesting to me. I did pick up this one, Mian Shao, just because I love the vibe of this, and it's a cheap card, and like, you know, the peaceful temple thing. That one stands out to me. And if you want to buy the artist, you know, Komiya, again, who cares about Brood Bonnet? But Komiya artwork, right? For an affordable price. So depending on how much you like Komiya, you could think about whether this would be worth a pickup as well. And keep in mind, guys, up to Paradox Rift, it's all moving out of rotation at some point coming up. So these ones would maybe even be the place to focus on right now. Maybe even Paldean Fates. I think Paldean Fates might be along with them in the same block. Let's look at the letters. So Paldean Fates is G. And Paradox Rift is G. Yeah, so up to Paldean Fates would probably be the time to prioritize those pickups you want in these sets. This one's easy for me. Top 3, I got him. This Pikachu as the king of the shinies, got it. And those would be my priorities. There's some, you know, standout shinies. I think the Mimikyu is cool, but those would be the standout ones I mentioned. All right, Temporal Forces. Guys, I've always defended Obsidian Flames and said I don't get why people say Temporal Forces is so much better than Obsidian Flames. And they were saying it, like people were saying it. That was the common consensus, probably still is, I don't know. But I didn't get it because of the fanfare Pokemon. Now, one thing I defended in Temporal Forces always was the Ghastly. And I've been watching it climb the ranks, and it makes perfect sense. I got the PSA 10 of the Ghastly. I got a raw of the Ghastly. I would recommend picking it up if you don't have it. Get exposure to the Ghastly. It has Gengar in it. It has Meowth. It's a good artwork. Absolutely love that card. It shines out through this whole set. I could, at this point, Raging Bolt has fallen so much that I am interested in thinking about picking it up as the standout of the unpopular chase cards. So again, these are not fan favorite Pokemon. The legendary dogs aren't even, I hate to say it, that popular, even though I like them. I'm Gen 2. And then you got these variants that are less popular. But at this price point, I would be considering getting the Raging Bolt to have one, because it's the top of these undesirables, and who knows, maybe just it being at the top of them could have value down the line. So I would at this point consider getting the Raging Bolt. The rest I wouldn't. I don't care about. I would avoid personally. The Arbok is an easy buy to me. This Drampa artwork, honestly, it's a dragon type. Dragon types are cool, and the artwork is unique. So I would think about this Drampa, honestly. But yeah, this is one of the ones where I find more interesting stuff lower down into it. Like, to me, Arbok at this price point is a better proposition than like these Gouging Fire, Iron Crown. To me, this Arbok at this price point just makes more sense. Gen 1 Pokemon, right? Iconic in the anime, Team Rocket Pokemon. I thought there was another one. Was there a Lickitung in here? As a Gen 1 Pokemon, I think Lickitung would be worth a pickup. Yeah, Lickitung's right next to the Arbok. So those Gen 1 Pokemons, I think, at low prices are worth the pickups, if you don't have exposure to them, for sure. All right, Twilight Masquerade. Now we get to the Greninja, the Eevee, the Chansey. This one has multiple first-gen Pokemon. We know how iconic the Pokemon Center is. We know Chansey is associated with Pokemon Center. Here, it's in the Pokemon Center. It's not that expensive. And yeah, so Growlithe, Gen 1, but a variant. But Parent's doing so well, so the artwork, connecting artwork, this Growlithe, I think would be worth a pickup if you don't have it. I do have it. I have a PSA 10, and I actually got one in a pack, a raw one. And then this Pinsir at this price point, Gen 1 Pokemon, cool, unique artwork. I would pick up this if I didn't have it. Infernape, I kind of dropped off of Pokemon when Infernape came around, so I wouldn't recommend it just because I don't know how popular Infernape is. If you're from this generation, if you grew up with it, if you experience these games, maybe it makes more sense to you, but I just don't know enough about Infernape and his popularity to recommend it. Although he's a Final Evolution starter, which is a good thing. Shrouded Fable. Okay, guys. I've been learning to play the Pokemon TCG with some buddies, and I realized this is a very playable card. When it's not, Persian's going to take over. Telling you right now, if you're looking for long-term investment, Persian's the way to go. I have it. I bought it a long time ago. And Houndoom as well, I would like to add to the collection. I think this Houndoom is a cool. These two are the standout artworks for me and long-term growth. The rest of these guys are playable. I'm pretty sure Duskull, Dusclops, and Dusknoir are playable. Monkey Dory is playable. Horsey is another long-term investment, right? Gen 1 Pokemon, nice artwork. And then we can get like down the line. I like this artwork enough, even though I don't know much about the Pokemon, that I would pick this up at this price point to have one. And the other ones, nothing much standing out to me. All right, let's keep going. But yeah, I mean, as Shrouded Fable, one of the most hated sets of the era, I mean, it's pretty nice, honestly. Like, looking at the artworks and stuff, pretty nice for one of the worst sets of the era, gotta say. Trick or Trade 2024. Yeah, so I would try to get one of these Gengars just in case, just in case down the line as the top chase card of this Trick or Trade. Squirtle Bulbasaur, right? See, like Temporal Forces, I'm like, yeah, the Ghastly, but then I gotta look down to find the Arbok. Here, Squirtle Bulbasaur, it makes sense right up front. I told you guys long ago, long ago. Man, the OGs will remember. People were like, like the Terapagos was number one. They weren't sure if it would pass it. I'm like, bro, Squirtle, Bulbasaur, gotta pass the Terapagos. That was a question at one point. Look at now, 30 versus 70. Wow. Wow. Yeah. So if you've been watching my videos, you would have picked these up, you would have ignored this one, and you would have been happy for it for sure. And then there isn't a lot. Again, these get so cheap that it makes sense to me. Like this Ladion, Gen 2, nostalgic for me, for other Gen 2 fans. Look how cheap this is. So this, if you don't have exposure to this, it just makes sense. Enjoy the artwork, have the exposure, pick one up of those. So yeah, those two, and then the third makes sense to me in Stellar Crown. But yeah, stuff like Stellar Crown, I wouldn't invest heavily into the set, but then like obviously I would invest into that Squirtle and Bulbasaur. So sometimes it really, for us people that are looking for individual cards, you could find value. And like that Persian and Shroud of Fable, even in an unpopular set, you could find value. So it's interesting. You can find an investment play. The Pikachu, 100% I think is a buy at this price point. The Latias and the Latios. Latios I like even more because people will be trying to match them up, and it's so affordable. It is so affordable. Because I'm talking about the price point, obviously. I think they both go well together, but the price point for the Latios is very tempting at this point. And I do have it. I have it in PSA 10, but if I didn't have it, I would definitely be looking out for it. Melodic again came after my time when I was outside of the hobby and the games. I know people like it. I want to get it, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. But these two are much more obvious yeses for me than Melodic. And for Gen 2 love, you got Fampi for affordable price. You got Execute for an affordable price. So those stand out as well to be on the lookout for. All right, we're almost done, guys. We're almost done. Prismatic. I guess this is what upcoming years where I'm going to be focusing some time on, because as we saw with a lot of the other sets, I have the chase cards, but there's a lot of chase cards here. Now, I have a Japanese version of this one. If you don't know, the really cool story behind this one is the Fist of the North Star mangaka actually did the artwork for this. So that's a very cool aspect to it. Yes, could have been a more popular Pokemon, but that alone makes it very intriguing if I didn't have the artwork at all, and I might still spring for the English one. Again, I talked to you guys about getting the best of a category. This Umbreon as a Master Ball, as the king of the Master Balls, reverse hollows, that is one I'd be looking to add to my collection. And honestly, in the upcoming months, I'll be looking for the ones in this top 10 that I don't have. I got the Umbreon, I made that a priority. I got the Leafeon, I made that a priority. Those are my favorites. I think the Leafeon's better artwork than the Sylveon. Maybe Sylveon's more popular. Maybe that's why it's holding more value for now. But I think the Leafeon artwork goes hard. And unfortunately, Espeon, I don't like this as much as I did with the Harry Potter, like library one. But I want to complete the collection, have exposure to these guys. So I think I'll be looking for deals for the ones I don't have. I have the Shinji Khan, the Roaring Moon, But for the Sylveon, Espeon, Vaporeon, Glaceon, Flareon, Jolteon, Eevee, I'll be on the lookout for deals and to adding my exposure to them in there. Again, I would prioritize the King, Umbreon EX. But after that, if opportunity presents itself, I would look to complete the collection just like I did for Evolving Skies. So I'll be on the lookout for that. Just gonna ignore the McDonald's ones, guys, because aren't the craziest value held in McDonald's cards. But I definitely wouldn't throw them out. I'd keep them if you get them, and you never know what could happen one day, especially as time goes on. People have the mentality that I just shared. They don't take care of them. So with some friends, I actually pulled Volcanion recently, which was cool. I actually made money back in that opening, more than I spent on the lunchbox, which was rare, right? You usually lose money opening stuff. But yeah, I won a pack battle with Volcanion, which was cool. Now, if I didn't draw it, I wouldn't go for it. The standouts for me at these prices are Wailord. I think this artwork's amazing. Wailord has that chase card and Magikarp in Wailord. I do think Magikarp is holding more of the weight there, but Wailord has chase card experience in one way or another. Plus the artwork's awesome, plus it's cheap. So Articuno, legendary bird, first generation, a lot of nostalgia there. Cheap, very easy buy right there. And Lily's Clefairy. Salamence, I like it. I don't love it, right? Lily's Clefairy, I love it. I think right now it's at an affordable price point. It's a sick chase card. Lily alone can bring in top dollar. We've seen that in the past. Now you have Lily combined with Clefairy and an amazing artwork. The way the green sparkles, including in her eyes and then on the grass, and it's just a really good chase card. One of my favorite buys right now if I didn't have it, and I might even get a second one. I think this Lily's Clefairy at this price point is a very good buy. So I'll be looking out to probably add a second one to the collection. Now, if you don't have these top 5, I would work towards getting them. I think Destined Rivals is the Evolving Skies of the main sets in Scarlet and Violet era. At the very least, it's better than Fusion Strike, in my opinion, if you look at the depth. Like, now that Fusion Strike's, getting a lot of love, it's now older. It wasn't getting love in the past, but it's now older. It's easy for people to be like, what are you talking about? Fusion Strike's way better. In my opinion, if you think about it rationally, you got Team Rocket. The whole set's Team Rocket. Team Rocket's part of it. We know how interesting Team Rocket is in the past and how much it can mean for a set. And then you have stuff like Team Rocket's Mewtwo, right? Mewtwo's a fan favorite Pokemon. Cynthia's Garchomp, fan favorite combination. Ethan's Ho-Oh for second gen people like me who played the second gen games the most. This card is probably my favorite in the whole set. And then you have Team Rocket's Moltres, the amazing artwork by Akira Egawa. And then the Moltres is also obviously legendary first gen Pokemon. Nidoking, Team Rocket's Nidoking, Giovanni with Nidoking looking like something you'd find in a How to Play Pokemon Yellow pamphlet. It looks absolutely amazing, nostalgic. And then, so those top 5 are a must-have in my opinion. I also pulled the trigger on a Team Rocket's Crobat, but I would prioritize these 5. I'm looking for Cynthia's Garchomp, by the way. I need to pick that one up, so I'm looking for that one actively. Misty's Psyduck, I picked that one up. I think that's a must-have. I'm looking for Ethan's Typhlosion in English. I have it in Japanese, but again, for Gen 2 nostalgia, doesn't get much better than this. Meowth, easy buy. Misty's Lapras, easy buy. Got both of those. This Rapidash has been elusive. Like, it's cheap. I think it's a great price point. I want to buy it. I haven't been seeing it at the shows and stores I've went to. So I'm on the lookout for the Rapidash. More so than the Kangaskhan, although I would pick up a Kangaskhan if I saw one. but I like this Rapidash even more. I think it goes well with the Chilling Rain Rapidash. And then Team Rocket's Wheezing, I would definitely pick that one up, especially like Pokemon associated with Team Rocket in illustration rare form. I like it a lot. I like that proposition for a low price point. I would get this Wheezing, I would get this Raticate, and these Team Rocket's Murkrow has amazing artwork. I'd get that at this price point. So there's just so much more depth than Fusion Strike. Fusion Strike, it's like 5 cards, right? Whereas here, I'd say you at least got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, you know, and then you could argue how much or less you want the other ones, like the Crobat and stuff. But at least 9 for me must have cards. So yeah, I think Destined Rival is gonna do really well, and you want to have the best cards from it for sure. I'm heavily exposed to sealed product for Destined Rivals as well, and I'm gonna keep building my position throughout the months. I know they're gonna print more, but I'm willing to wait until the printers start focusing on different things. Even if it takes a few years, that's a few years more that I can build up my position. Honestly, guys, I'm gonna pass White Bolt and Black Flare. I get that they have a lot of set value, but the cards themselves are not that interesting to me. I guess as a Shinji Kanda fan, I'm kind of thinking that would be cool to get the Seismitoad. I think it has retraced from its highs. So as completing like a Shinji Kanda collection, there will be people like that. It will hold value. But the other cards are expensive, and I don't have a connection to them. And that means a lot of older people, Gen 1 people, Gen 2 people won't have a connection to them. So it's just, I kind of want the Victini red card if it falls to a certain point, but it still seems expensive to me. So honestly, not looking for anything in Black Bolt, White Flare, but kind of thinking about Seismitoad as a Shinji Kanda fan. Yeah, but you know, if you love Gen 5, if you know the most popular Gen 5 Pokemon, and you'll enjoy having the card in your collection, then add it up, get some exposure to it, and maybe, you know, maybe it'll go up over time. But I just don't get Black Bolt and White Flare personally. This Charizard, I think, has a future long term. It's a Charizard, obviously, as well. Haunter, Gen 1 Pokemon. Shinji Kanda artwork. This Alakazam for sure. For sure, I got a Pokemon Center stamp version of this. That's cool. Gen 1 Pokemon Final Evolution, plus a cool artwork. So those are ones that stand out for the promos here long term. Again, now we're dealing with super new stuff. So keep in mind, you have more time to wait on this stuff than some of the stuff that's going out of rotation and potentially out of print, right? I'm not convinced about the gold cards yet, so I'm steering clear of them. Mega Gardevoir I'm thinking about. Again, because these price points aren't crazy at this point. You know, Mega Venusaur, like, I'm watching them. I'm watching these cards, right? Mega Gardevoir we know can lead a set. Like Gardevoir can lead a set. So as the top Mega artwork, I'm leaning more towards this, but I'd be watching Mega Venusaur. Potentially pick it up at some point with the whole line. I think it's cool that there's the whole line there. Mega Absol, I like it because, again, I like stuff that gives that Batman vibe, but that could be a personal thing. Mega Latias, you know, nothing screaming out. This Vulpix is screaming out. This Vulpix is screaming out to me. This Marshadow, because it has the Pikachu and because it went through that whole pop and flop, because it got super high and then fell. I think now it's at a nice approachable point. So these three honestly look very nice to me at these price points. The top ones just might be a bit overinflated for now, like a lot of the top ones. So I'd sit back and watch, not dying to get anything up there, dying to get the Vulpix, and I would pick up the Steelix and the Marshadow for this price. I already have the Bulbasaur, uh, the enhanced booster box Bulbasaur artwork, so I have exposure to that artwork at least. And this is an easy pickup, cheap pickup of a Gen 1 Pokemon. It goes with the Pinsir artwork as well. I believe it's the same artist. And yeah, it's a nice set. It's a nice set. I think it'll age well. The top ones might have more room to fall, as you know, it's the new generation, the new era. At least when you're buying Destined Rivals, it's new, but it's still kind of the last era. This is the brand new era. So just keep that in mind. This is all new. You have more time. Long term, I do like the idea of getting all three of these. I like the idea of getting the Mega Latias. I honestly already have the Mega Absol. Yeah, so I could see myself getting them long term, but it's not a rush to me. More so these three, I would be more interested in picking up the Ivysaur as well because of the price point. The Venusaur is cool, and I'd like to complete the line, but I just feel like the price point may dip more at this point. But they're not awful price points, I think, for these two. Keep in mind, this is Mega Lucario fighting Venusaur, so you have two popular Pokemon there. And then Mega Charizard. I believe in buying the best of the best, right? I pulled the trigger on this. Yes, it could go down, but I need to have this in my collection, and I think a lot of people will feel that way down the line. So I think this is a good investment. Yes, it could dip more, but the way I look at it with these kinds of cards, with this popular of a Pokemon, this popular of an artwork, the way I look at it is buy one. If it drops to half the price you bought in, buy another one. And rinse and repeat. Like, so for example, if you buy it at $500, it drops to $250, buy another one. It drops to $125, buy another one. I don't think it'll keep falling, obviously even more than that, but just rinse and repeat with this artwork. If you use that strategy, eventually you're going to do well, right? Give it enough time. And again, you know what I'm saying about the gold ones? Now this isn't even the top card. And yes, it's easier to draw than this, but you need more than just drawing difficulty. So I feel like I'd be hesitant with those Mega Evolution gold cards because inherently, clearly, people still don't want just the gold cards. Even though I do think this Mega Charizard X is probably harder to hit than the Mega Charizard illustration rare, but this is still more valuable. So yeah, I would still rather get the Mega Gardevoir in Mega Evolutions illustration rare versus the gold card personally. Meowth, this is definitely a pickup. 100% at this price point. This to me is a pickup. I honestly got it at a higher price point, so seeing it at this price point, I would definitely pick up another copy. Because you guys have to remember, the Gen 1s, this, not only is a Gen 1 Pokemon, this is the Pokemon Center you would see in those old games. It even looks like it. So for that reason, this is a must-have card, I think, and it will be for a lot of people. Then you have this Dugong is a no-brainer for me. I will pick up probably every Dugong I see at this price point. I will probably have to limit myself at some point because, you know, I want to get different cards as well. I don't want to just have the same card, but I definitely want a few more copies of this Dugong. I already have one, but at this price point, it's a final stage first-gen Pokemon. In my opinion, a very cool first-gen Pokemon and an amazing artwork for this cheap illustration rare. Like, what is this? Less than half of a pack price, and yet you could get something this beautiful. I feel like that the Dugong's a no-brainer to me. And that is it, guys. Wow. This might be my longest video ever, but that was my research for what I want to pick up. Give me a sense of what to look for at the show. I hope it benefited you too. If you enjoy Pokemon Investing Talk, then hit that like button, subscribe. Let me know what you think is a really good deal right now in the comments. Maybe we can build off each other's ideas and come up with better conclusions together. And like I said, if you want to see what I do end up buying and selling at the show, make sure to follow the Ninetales Corner Instagram. And I'll see you in the next video.